So I'm starting to try to utilize this drone that I bought a while ago, but I just ran into an issue. The issue number one is that the micro SD card that I bought is corrupt, unfortunately. I don't really know how. Maybe I let it sit in my computer or pulled it out or something. So I can't use this on the action camera that came with the drone. So I originally was going to buy a new SD card since these are only like $20 for 128 gigabytes. But then I ran into another issue. So whenever I turn on my action camera for this video to make sure that everything is going well, I somehow ended up messing it up and now it won't even turn on, so unfortunately I can no longer use this. So the reason why I thought that I was going to buy new cameras because this enclosure that came with the drone fits GoPros. So instead of buying a new camera, I'm just gonna 3D model and print this enclosure to go on my drone, but for this camera, since this is a cheap Canon that I just have in my arsenal of cameras. So the idea behind this model is that I can just unscrew this screw and this screw and just make a completely new enclosure for the top of this, just to fit on this hot shoe mount for the drone. Just because I don't want to have to redesign all this. There's also just a little bit of absorption right here that I want to keep on the model. So let's go like this. Okay, I just finished up the CAD. I have not put them together quite yet, but this piece right here is what I'm referring to as the top part of the enclosure, which is just this section right here. You'll probably notice some differences, like how right here there's a slant, and I'll explain that whenever I show the top part or the bottom part. See, down here is where it will fit onto the dampening piece of equipment. It'll fit right in between here. There's little holes for the two screws on each side. The only thing different now is on the bottom enclosure. So instead of modeling out a latch like how this has, I decided to just put this flat piece right here, and I'm going to put a piece of Velcro on, so that way I'll be able to take it on and off. And if that's not enough, then I can always drill a hole and just lock it down to it. Here is the final design. I forgot to add a little hole at the bottom of this so I could turn it on. I am going to have to put the camera in upside down just because where the button is to turn it on is too close to this, and so I thought I would just turn the camera upside down and fix it in post. But here's the final model. I'm gonna just go through one last time and make sure all my measurements are correct and probably clean up some of these edges to make it a little more nice, just bevel them and stuff. You can see it will just snap right here, and in between here there will be some Velcro to help keep it down. If anything, I can also keep a rubber band here to keep this piece close to this piece. But I mean, here it is. Hopefully this works first time, so I don't have to do any more major adjustments, but I'll go through and double check my measurements, make sure everything's okay, and then I'll print out these two separate pieces tomorrow. So here's the finished project. There's some issues with this model, but I went ahead and just printed it out. Mainly when I was messing around with this, I actually broke this piece off, so just kind of slapped some super glue on there and some tape, and I mean, it'll be fine for what I'm doing with. Also, I underestimated for the size of the holes. I'm probably going to end up redoing this model, and I'll probably fix this issue. Printing it a different direction will help. And the same thing happened down here. I underestimated for the size of the hole at the bottom, so I actually stripped the hole. So I just have this here to help keep it on there if I need to change the direction. But other than that, I mean, it should be fine mostly for what I need it for this weekend. I think this will work because this will just hang like this and doesn't want to move, and for the most part the camera's in here fairly well. It moves around a little bit, that's okay. Turn it on, it's still pretty easy, just like that, and it will sit on the drone like this. Okay, so it's still raining, so I'm just inside of my parking garage right now, up a few floors. Gonna hook up the camera to the drone and just try to fly it, you know, right here in this space, so we'll see how that goes. So I ran into my first error, and I didn't account for how low this would sit. So when this sits on the ground, it actually hits right here. So I've just kind of adjusted the camera back to give it more of an angle down versus across. That's okay. I'm fine with that, honestly. And the second issue is that right here where the Velcro is, there's a lot of play, and I'm not sure if I'm okay with that. So I might just stick a piece of tape right here just as a precautionary measurement, and maybe in a later model I can go through and fix that. Alright, so let's do it. So there's a pretty strong draft through the garage, so I think I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. I'm going to say that this project was a success for a little minor project, so hopefully I can start using this drone with this camera and get some cool shots whenever, you know, it's not raining outside. Whenever I was just reviewing the footage of the drone flight, I realized that whenever the camera or whenever the enclosure hit the ground pretty hard, the camera actually stopped recording. And not only did it stop recording, but it completely just lost the entire file that it was recording. So unfortunately, I lost the entire flight I was filming. So I went back and flew it a few more times and hopefully got a few shots here and there. I originally said that the camera hitting the ground would not be a problem, but obviously it is. Maybe in the future I'll have to redo how it mounts to the drone and also kind of go over some of those flaws I had in this design. But for now I'm going to put this to rest and hopefully come back to it in the future, or who knows, because I am planning on using this drone for parts sometime over the summer, but I don't want to buy a new drone because they're expensive. So depending on how my videos take off, I'll decide whether or not I want to buy an actual drone or just keep, you know, bodging the job over of a camera drone. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one last time. Go check out some of my other videos. You know, I 3D printed a Sumabot. That's pretty cool.